But hey, everybody, what's up, world? Thank you for joining us for our Wednesday webinars where we hope to provide a little bit more information in this world of credit. I am the Director of Education here at My Credit. I'm the newest addition to the family. With us today, we have the one and only Jay McMillan, who is works on our inside sales team. And we've got a wonderful credit coach for you today, one of our best, Carlie Neilson. I'm so happy that these guys join us. Carlie is in the hustle and bustling office, so she's on mute right now. If she wasn't on mute, we'd hear a million people talking and everything because it is on and popping in the office. Isn't it, Carlie? Isn't it on and popping out there?
Oh, it's crazy. We're all busy.
See, there's a million people talking, dude. It's so busy out there. So thank you for making some time, Carlie. We know you're super busy. Last week, we had an awesome conversation. Want to continue that really quickly. Jay, can you just introduce yourself, sir? How long you've been here, where you hail from, what your family looks like, why you do what you do, why you get up in the morning? Can you tell us about yourself, sir?
Absolutely. First and foremost, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I've been with my credit guy for about a year now, started in inside sales, recently have transitioned into an account management role.
Yeah.
So I'm focused more at this point on the referral partners, loan officers, real estate agents. I see collections on the regular. It is pretty common. You know, it's an issue that a lot of people that are struggling with credit scores are facing. You know, pretty common. There's a lot of nuance involved. That being said, you know, there are definitely some do's and don'ts. So I'm excited to talk about this today. It's gonna be a fun conversation.
Awesome. What's your family situation looking like?
I have a daughter that regretfully goes to University of Arizona. Being a Sun Devil myself, I don't like that, but it is what it is.
Oh, she's down in Tucson?
She's in Tucson, yes, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I grew up in St. Louis in the Midwest, so, you know, St. Louis Cardinals, best team in the world.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I was stationed out in Tucson in the Air Force. I was out at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. So I spent a lot of time. We actually worked a lot of football games at U of A. So I love that campus. And
it's pretty down there for sure.
Tucson's a pretty cool space. But my family lives out in Mesa. My brother went to ASU for a little while, so he's a former Sun Devil himself. I wouldn't really call like 2 semesters and failed to like he's like, oh yeah, I used to go to ASU. I'm like, bro, you signed up at ASU. You didn't go to you can't be claiming you're alumni and you didn't even finish 2 semesters. So you know what I mean? So Jay, so you're out there in Arizona, as everyone knows, we've got an Iowa office and an Arizona office. Carlie, where are you at in the world? Tell us about yourself.
I'm here in Arizona. I've been here for roughly about 10 months now, so I'm getting close to that year mark. Really love it here. I have a huge family. I am the oldest, though. I got a brother who actually works here too. He's another credit coach. The rest of them are all youngins spread out throughout Arizona, Utah, other states like that. Really love it here. I like to be the credit coach. That's what I've been since I've been here. So I am directly working with the clients. I am their teammate. We are planning, going over reports, figuring out what they got to do to get to that loan.
I love how you said you're a teammate, right? Like we're talking about a very sensitive topic today about collections, right? It's a very tough time and like when we're faced with owing people money that we possibly may not have at that time. What a nerve-wracking experience, right? You got to start prioritizing what your dollars go to every single day. You're trying to be on a budget, but you literally you maybe not even making enough money at that time, or maybe you're so underwater debt-wise where it's impossible to get on a budgeting plan, right? And I know that's one of the things you work with people, right? Like when you say you're their teammate, you're talking about setting up a plan, right? You set up a plan to tackle people, right?
Oh yeah, I do it. I learn all about their history, what they're going through. They tell me, you know, we're all very on the same page. You know, they tell me, Carlie, this is what I can do. And I say, okay, I mean, this is what our plan we're going to do with what we can work with. And I work with people who have money to blow are the ones who are on a tight budget. We're seeing a lot of the people who are more on the tight budget, especially with all this COVID stuff. So yeah, it's all sorts of different people that I'm working with, but I'm right there with them to help with whatever they're comfortable with. I'm not here to be like, okay, we have no choice, we're going here. It's what can we work with, where are we at, and go from there.
Right. That's outstanding. And I know I have had an experience. I've had a bad experience with the collection of my life. This is years ago, but I remember my parents were always like, just pay your bills on time, right? Try to pay your bills on time. That's really all I knew about, debt was if you make debt, pay for it and try to pay it on time, and pay what you owe type deal. But, I'll blame my now wife. She married me, so now I talk about her all the time. But she messed my credit up back in the day, and I was spending too much money because of her. Let's just say, but I remember that I had a bill that I totally forgot about, and it just it went into collections, and I think it was like only for $100 and something, and this debt collector called me and it was like threatening, like I'm gonna tell your supervisor. He knew I was military. He threatened me with talking to my commander, just everything under the sun to get me scared enough to pay that immediately. Like the end of that conversation was like, so how much money are you paying today, Mr. Robinson? And I was like, all right, I'll see what I can do. I won't pay my phone bill this month so I can pay off this bill. I think I bought some rims or something for my car, and I you know what I mean? And I missed the payment or something. But it was such an aggressive experience. And I felt so powerless in that experience. So I know that's something where having a coach like you, like having a teammate to say, hey, what are my options here? How can I go about this? Can you help me with this? Can you walk me through this process? I know that's something that is much needed. And thank you for doing what you do every day. And you love it. And that's really amazing. So we know you see collections because you're a credit coach and you get the client who has collections on their record. So we'll talk about how you help them. But Jay, where do you see collections at on your end? Because how do you deal with those?
So a lot of times what will happen is 95% of our customers are sent over by their loan officer, their real estate agent. A lot of times they'll come over with a credit report. So the first thing we do is we dive down into what's going on in the report. A lot of times we come across collections. Ultimately, there's a rating system that the credit reports use. And those collections and charge-offs are rated the worst rating basically you can have. It's a 9 on the scale.
A 9, so that's the worst one.
Having said that, the important thing is there's quite a bit of nuance into, going back to the way we're set up. We're trying to help most of our customers get a home loan, right? Get them into a house. So it depends on a lot of factors as to how important it is to pay it off. And the step, I guess, first and foremost, you don't necessarily want to pay them off, is important to say. And what can happen is if you pay off a collection, they don't remove it from the reports, that rating is still there, you're not going to see a return on money spent. So that is a common error that people make. They think intuitively, kind of to your point, I should pay this, I owe this. Having said that, if you're paying, $100, $1,000, $10,000, and your credit score isn't going up, you're not seeing a return on that money spent.
Yeah, so absolutely. Because you're literally going about it blind, right? You're just thinking, hey, I'm going to buy a house. I got to pay off everything that I have, right?
Yeah.
That's and ultimately, right, Carlie? You're just going about this blindly. Like, let me start with the oldest thing, and you're just kind of hustling backwards in that regard, right?
Yeah, because people are so badly, for good reasons, wanting to get into that house. They kind of go on this frenzy of just paying everything off, even tapping into those savings that could have been used for the house. But instead, they're actually making it difficult for them.
So it's like out of desperation, like they're just thinking that they're trying to clean things up really quickly. And that's why we say, hey, we have, like, that's what we exist for, right? We're here to help people through this process. And you see, like, Jay is on a different side of the house than Carlie is. I'm on a different side of the house than you two, right? And we all provide different aspects of the credit repair and restoration process. That's what I love that Sam and Tricia have set up this process here for you as a client of ours, that you're going to get, different facets of the experience. Jay, you're more on the front end, getting you ready to speak with a coach like Carlie. And then Carlie, you're there to get them into that home, right? You're there to do, like, you're like the middle of the car wash, right? Like you're in the middle of the car wash, like doing. Jay's like, what kind of car wash do you want, right? You want an extreme? Okay, we got you. Okay, let me take a look at things. All right, here, push this button, and then here. Then they're going to push it through, and then Carlie's in there scrubbing. And then I'm at the end, and I'm just like, hey, how was that? Was that good for you? Was that good for you? But yeah, and the thing with collections is, a lot of people say, well, how soon does it become a collection, right? And that's all due to different factors, right? That's how soon do you have to worry about it becoming a collection? There's a lot of factors that go into that, right, guys? Like, how soon does something become a collection? What goes into something like that?
It depends on the type. It depends on the state. There's a lot of nuance in that. Yeah, there's a lot. And ultimately, it comes down to, that rating. That's what's hurting the credit score. That's what's being factored in.
Yeah.
That's why that collection is hurting so much,
Yeah.
And legally, per the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the creditors have 30 days to verify that it's your debt. It should be on your credit report. So when we get someone enrolled into the system, that's the first step we take. We want to verify it. Make sure that they have the documentation saying, yes, this is accurate information. This should be on Brett's credit report, for example. And
I'm glad you brought up the Fair Credit Reporting Act, because also we have, as a consumer, 30 days to dispute that, right? We have 30 days as well. So thank you for bringing that up. You know your stuff, sir. Josh has an awesome question. Maybe Carlie could handle this. Does the amount of the collection make a difference in the score?
No, it doesn't change the rating. Honestly, you could have someone who owes $200. You could have one that's $17,000. It's going to be the same.
Right. And that's a great question, Josh. Thanks for asking that, because that is where you need a Carlie in your life, because you may have a few different collections and you're like, hey, Carlie, here's my plan. I'm going to go ahead and pay that $5,000. Whoa. This is where you need to think about doing the most at, right? In a different area or something like that. So getting a credit coach is crucial. It is crucial in the process. And of course, someone of Carlie's expertise really helps out. That was an awesome question. Hey, everybody out there, everybody say hello. We got a lot of people joining us today. We got a question. Is it true that medical collections don't impact the score?
No, it's not true. They impact the score because of the rating. Now, there are laws in place where the medical can't count against you. So it can't, what's the word I'm looking for? It can't keep you from getting a home loan, but it does factor into the score. So that rating is factoring into the score, even though it's medical. And that goes into that nuance. There's a lot of gray involved in this area.
A collection is a collection. Doesn't matter where it came from.
Yep, whether it's medical or
Perfect, guys. Perfect. Awesome. You guys are on it today. Man, I love this company. So I wanted to talk about, from an education perspective, we are protected by federal law as consumers, are we not? We have rights when we are contacted by collectors, right? Like debt collection companies. So do not freak out if you are in this position right now, or you've been in the past, or you may have something on the horizon. We're here for you. There is the Fair Debt Collections Act, and you need to understand that you are protected by the FTC. We'll make a post in here, this actual 28-page document. We'll drop that in here. If Curtis, maybe you could post that for people to read and check out. But I want to let you know, here by law, debt collectors cannot, by federal law, they cannot threaten you, right? They cannot threaten you in writing or over the phone. Collectors must use business-like language. If you are ever threatened or harassed over the phone, that's okay. That's a cue for you to be done. Immediately write that down, write who it was, what business it was from, write the name of the person, and write down that you were harassed by a debt collector, okay? They're not allowed to be annoying. Being annoying is they can't make excessive phone calls. Like they may be able to call you throughout the day, but they can't leave you 50 voicemails throughout the day. They can only leave you one voicemail throughout the day. They can't leave you 50 voicemails. So you're just so tired of the voicemails, you end up calling and, you know, talking to them, and you're only calling them so they'll stop leaving you voicemails. They can't be deceptive. So there's no like trick or treat. Like they can't act like everything is, and they're like, oh, by the way, now that I got you on here, you know, you're going down. You know, they're not allowed to do anything like that. They're not allowed to lie about the consequences of what you're facing. They cannot make up some trumped up charges that if you don't pay this debt in 30 days, you're going to jail. We're taking your children, right? We'll repossess your vehicle. They cannot do that. So just be aware of your rights. And again, we're posting a file. It's a 28-page document that outlines your federal rights as a consumer. And these are outlined to protect you. This law was enacted in 1970 to protect us. I can't even imagine life before 1970. I can't, because I wasn't born before then, and I know you guys weren't, but it sounded like it was the Wild Wild West, right? Like they'll show up at your house and beat you up until you paid money, because these laws weren't around. They cannot make idle threats. Collectors can't threaten you with illegal actions or actions they have no intention of carrying out. So if they don't intend to take you to court, they cannot do so. That is a very popular method, right, you guys? We will sue you. We will take you to court. If they say that, they have to do that. They cannot say they're going to do so and not do it. We have to be careful though, because if we tell them, hey, take me to court, I've got a lawyer, whatever, they can hold us to that stuff as well, right? And we'll get ourselves in trouble. That's why you need to sign up with my credit guy and get a good credit coach, a great credit coach like Carlie, so she will keep you out of trouble. Right, Carlie?
Yeah, I was actually about to say, no longer than a couple of years ago, I worked for a doctor's office. I had to make those collection calls. I had to reach out to people. So I was very much aware of those rules and what they can and they cannot do.
How serious are those rules, right? Like you could get sued. You could get sued for punitive damages, right? If you break the FTC laws.
Absolutely. I had to be very careful with what I said. And of course, those people weren't too happy with my calls, but yeah, they're very, very strict on what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. We definitely want you guys to understand about you are not allowed to be harassed. And hey, let's just be real. Like if you owe the money or not, that's not they cannot harass you to get it from you. They're not allowed to. Okay. So the debt collectors are buying the debt for pennies, sometimes 10 cents, maybe 20 cents on a dollar. They're buying those debts and they're calling you because they want you to pay them so they can make money. So handle your obligations, of course, responsibly, but do it strategically, right? Do it strategically.
Which is where we come into the mix, very much so.
Absolutely.
That's exactly where we come into the mix, is we want to look, going back to working in inside sales, look at a credit report, see what's on there, and then give a diagnosis of the amount of time it's going to take to deal with this, and work our way towards either doing a pay for deletion, negotiating a settlement. The idea here is you don't want to pay off a collection. I can't count how many times I spoke with someone doing inside sales that has said to me, I wish I would have spoken to you 6 weeks ago, because they went out, they pulled a credit report, they called these people up, they paid them. And at this point, that rating's on there, it's paid, it's been updated. That date of last activity has been updated for 7 years. It's going to report as a collection moving forward, even though there's no debt associated with it. That's the worst case scenario. And sadly, that's pretty common. That's where my credit guy, we come in with expertise, manpower. We've got teams that do this. And even if, this kind of makes us special in this space, especially, if we can't help, we'll tell you. We'll let you know. You know what I mean? We'll give you an honest look at what you got going on, what our game plan would be. And specifically, that's one of the things we want to avoid. We don't want to see that collection rating paid, updated. That's like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, yeah. So I love how you put that, Jay. It's just if you need some answers, if you need some help, sign up and figure out if you even need us or not, right? Like I've sat with the intake folks and I've heard numerous times, here's all you need to do. And I love that about our company. Here's all you need to do. You don't need us. You don't need to pay for us. Here's all you need to do. Go do that. And then if you're still needing some help, come back. And then if you need anything else, so, you know, come see us. Or if you know anybody who needs us, send them our way. And I love that about our company. We're not like, we're legit always trying to help people. That's hence like why we're sitting here on a Wednesday afternoon on St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day.
I'm sitting here just dropping these gems on here. Carly's super busy, so thank you for making some time, Carlie. Now, I want everybody to understand one thing though. The FDCPA protects us, right? If you are called by a collector, right? Now, we're not lawyers or anything like that, but I'm just telling you as Brett here, Director of Education on My Credit Guy, if you're called by a collection agency, you know, in the military, we had a saying, 20 years in the United States Air Force, trust but verify, right? Okay, you called me, you told me who you are, you told me what I owe. Okay, prove it, right? Right, Carlie? Prove it to me that I owe that.
We want everything in writing.
Get everything in writing, and then that's where you're going to go work with your credit coach. Here's what I got, and can you help me out and navigate through these waters, right? But you want to know, like they have by federal law, they have to outline who you owe the money to. You have 30 days to take action, all that good stuff. In writing, they have to provide this information. They have to give you a letter by law, okay? And that's where the FDCPA, it protects us, and I'm so glad it exists because, you know, you can't get you're not allowed to call somebody, Carlie, in the debt collection world, right? You can't call somebody at 5 a.m., right? Can't call Carlie, I know they're probably waking up at 6. I'm going to call them when they're waking up for work. Like you can't call them, you know, before 8. You can't call after 9. You're by federal law, you're not allowed to do that stuff.
That kind of makes me wonder. So like if somebody calls me and is kind of telling me that I owe a debt, I'm not sure that it's mine or not. Carlie, how do I respond to that? Like what does that conversation look like?
Yeah, so first thing, don't provide your personal information. Do not give them your social security number. Absolutely not. If they have you and they have your information to call you, they should have all that already in there. You can ask them, what address do you have on file? What phone number? What's my email address? What's my full name that you have on there? Because there's people where they'll call and they have the wrong person. You know, we're human. Some people make mistakes, and that's the great thing about it. But to make sure that it's yours, you want that in writing. Tell them, if it's my debt, send me something in the mail. If you have my email, like you said, send me an email. And I tell people all the time, when you get those in the mail, do not throw them away. Do not keep that in your files, because especially when you get to me as a credit coach, I want to see that. I actually want it for their files. I get to see what they're saying on the paperwork, because sometimes they give us great information, like they're willing to delete it from the report if they pay it. Some of them are giving them options like payment plans. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they put in the writing there, and that's what's very important. It even tells you information like who the original creditor was. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, but basically, if they're harassing you, talking to you, do not give them your personal information. Write it down. Who was he? If they have a reference number, like you were saying before, Brett, that's the important stuff that you need to keep for your files.
Rock star, man. Man, I want you to be my credit coach, Carlie. Come on, man. I'm fired up, Jay. Don't that make you fired up, man? I love our people, man. God, man, we're on top of our game, man. I love it. Carlie, thank you so much for providing all that awesome information. What else we got, Curtis? What else you thinking of, man? What else we got? We're
I
here.
do kind of have one more question here. It's like, if I have multiple collections, for example, like which one do I start with? How do I know which one to start with?
It really just depends, because collections are going to stay on there like anywhere from 7 to 8 years, and they're supposed to fall off the report, but sometimes they don't. And so it's really just when they get to us, we got to look at the report. How are they reporting, the dates on there, and we kind of coach it from that point. It's not a black and white answer.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like that would be a situation to kind of reach out to an expert.
Yeah, and Curtis, there's also, the statute of limitations, like for every state out there, right? So each state has their own statute of limitations, like when you can, like how long things can hang around for and things like that. So I always want to advise people to check out the statute of limitations in your state. We're not, we're not attorneys or whatever. I'm not gonna go on here and, but I know I'm just speaking as a consumer here in Florida. It's 5 years. It's a statute of limitations for. You can't sue me after 5 years goes by. Now you can still hound me for the debt for here to eternity, but when you're like, well, we'll sue you, too late. You know what I mean? You can't. You have a statute of limitations for that stuff. So that's what we're here for, though, right, guys? We're here to provide education. We're here to inform our clients. We're here to inform our people who need us. That's what we're in business for. And when people found out, like, I've been here for a little while now, and they're like, Brett, what are you doing over in credit repair? It's so much, right? There's so many moving parts. Like, look at each person on this call is from 4 different sections in this company, right? We're not just, let me take a look at your credit report and let me give you some advice, right? Those days it's a much more technical world. We are wanting to help you from a strategic level, right? And I know I'm not the best planner, right? So if I can have somebody like Carlie sit me down and be like, Brett, here's what I want to do as far as planning to attack these issues, right? Planning to raise your credit score. It's going to take some work, right? I want to help you with that work, right? I want to outline the plan for you to achieve your goals. Because I know, Carlie, right? Like, what's your goal? Right, Jay, I know. What's your goal, right? We're asking our clients, hey, what's your goal here? Right? What's your goal? You're trying to buy a house in 8 months. You trying to get out of, you just want to work on your credit score. You're in the low 6s. You want to be in the 7. I mean, we get people from all walks of life, right, guys?
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I had a guy this morning who got him refinanced for his home loan. That's what
there
he
you
was
go.
For.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So a lot of people are like, well, I'm not buying a house anytime soon. I won't worry about my credit. So many more things that a good credit score can get you, right? And I think one of the main things it does is it builds you credibility in the world, right? Like, you go out there, anything you're applying for, you got to think about, are they looking at your credit? A lot of people are. A lot of people are.
Even cell phones.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people are looking to see if you're worthy of doing business with, and your credit score is a good indicator of whether or not you're worthy enough to do business with, right? Like, it's that trust as a consumer, right? To me, that's all your credit score is just, hey, I'm a trustworthy consumer, right? So I'd like to do business with you. So a lot of times, even if you may be sitting somewhere where you think you're good, right? Like, why not take advantage of a better interest rate? I was talking to a friend of mine the other night, and we were talking about some things, and he was telling me he's got 23%, interest rates, right? And I'm like, why are you not going back to them, telling them to lower your interest rate? Your credit's, he's in the 700s credit score. Like, why are you not? I didn't know you could do that. Oh no, man, you get your credit up, you start getting some power, right? We start getting some power. So, so great chat today. Guys, there any last minute things you guys want to add? I always like to leave these with, if you could give somebody like a quick minute of advice or anything you want clients to hear straight from you, what would it be? I know I'm putting you on the spot, Jay.
Don't just casually pay off collections.
Don't casually pay off collections. Outstanding advice, sir. Outstanding advice. Carlie, what about you?
Come to us. Honestly, that's what I'm here for. Whether you're working with me, one of our other coaches, we have a settlement team. That's their job. They're stepping in to help out. So it's not them by themselves. They're paying for us to help out. We're actually going to be there to help them.
Oh, awesome. Outstanding. Curtis, what about you, Curtis?
I actually forgot to mention this. I meant to mention this earlier, but I read last night, and I thought this was interesting. That
on, a little dangerous.
So right now, collectors can reach out to you through the phone, via email, and starting in later 2021, they're actually going to be able to reach out to people who owe debts through social media. So like through
Oh.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, so be aware of that coming up. I think that's something to definitely take note of because it's never happened before. So be aware, folks.
We were joking earlier. It was like, you know, they somebody like message you a funny meme or something, be like, oh, that was funny. Be like, oh, you liked our meme? Give us our money, right? You know what I mean? Like, right. They're gonna get tricky. They, like I said, these people buy debt, right? So they're trying to make money. Like, you know, Carlie was working for the doctors, where the doctor's like, hey, we need our money for the service we provided. But, you know, there comes a time where they're like, oh, they're never gonna pay. We'll get rid of it. And then those people come in and take over. And those people are the ones they're the ones fighting for these laws to be passed where they can contact you and, you know, they can try to harass you. They want to harass you as much as possible because they want your money. So just keep in mind, there are protections out there, and we will actually have a whole presentation on the Fair Debt Collections and Reporting Act. And I can't wait to do that lesson. So, Curtis said, wrap it up. So I'm going to be quiet. I thank you too for giving us some time today and being the awesome, outstanding professionals you are. Continue to do what you do every day. And yeah, we will see you next week, Curtis, right?
Awesome. Yeah, we will see you next week. We are on every Wednesday. Right now, our consistent schedule is 1 p.m. Central Time. That is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, so if you want to kind of stay on top of our topics, catch us on Wednesdays. And so thank you again, Jay and Carlie.
Take a look on the main page. We're going to be doing some fun stuff on Friday too. Be on the lookout. We're going to be on the main page on Friday too, having some fun.
Eye out for the main page.
Aaron, go
Thanks,
Bra.
Guys.